Yo, what's going on, guys? Chris Bonner here, Overtime Athletes. Today, I wanted to make a video for you guys to address some of you guys. I get a lot of questions. Anytime I get a repetition or a series of questions, or a lot of them, I try to address it in video because sometimes I can't always get to each individual question. So one that I commonly get from you guys is, I'm young and my parents won't let me lift with weights, and sometimes I get a lot of, I don't have weights, or it's not available in my country, or whatever it might be. You just don't have any weights to perform resistance style training, but you're still athletes, so you're wondering how I should train my body weight, but also do it as in trying to become more powerful, faster as an athlete. Well, I figured I'd make this video for you. My approach to developing a body weight program for athletes, whether you're just on vacation and you want to maintain that proper twitch, that explosive capacity that you can then translate over to the field, court, arena, whatever it is that you're performing in. So there's three parameters that I'm looking at when I'm performing a bodyweight program for power athletes. First, it's all about varying the range of motion and movement. So instead of just performing a push-up, it's a matter of varying the range of motion within that push-up and the actual, how your the movement is. So it's mixing it up and having a mixture of whether that be wider or closer grip or regular standard grip, or varying the actual movement in and of itself, whether it be dive bomber push-ups or shoulder push-ups or V push-ups. There's a lot of different things that you could do. So it's having those different and applying a different stimulus to the body all the time, but movements that you're actually going to be performing, or you can actually utilize and transfer over to your sport. Next, and what probably the most important, is I would try to excite the nervous system or apply a stimulus to the body with body weight the same exact way that you would while you're resistance training with the weights. Now, this could be very tough, but what I notice is if you perform some form of complex training, and I've went over this before, complex training is when you're performing some kind of resistance training, utilizing that similar movement and then performing some kind of speed variable, or now that you have the heightened nervous system, you want to perform some kind of jump or speed or something explosive movement to be able to transfer that nervous system being excited over to that movement to perform it better. So with this parameter, I would want to perform some kind of movements, utilize some kind of tempos, whether that be eccentric or isometric type movements. Let's say, for instance, to give you an example, a squat. If I perform an isometric squat and hold that particular range of motion with that athlete, even having a sprinter stance, where I'm in a lunge position, but I'm looking like I would if I'm doing sprinting, I'm recruiting those motor units. I'm exciting that nervous system. Then I might transfer that over onto that athlete performing like a 10-yard sprint. So now the nervous system is excited, and I can transfer that over to a faster, more explosive 10-yard sprint. So that's a big thing that I would do, because like I said, the whole objective here is to try to get a similar stimulus as you would as if you were training with weights with that movement, so it could then transfer over onto the field. Remember, we're looking for that all-out pop, that all-out twitch. We're not just looking for standard movements and range of motion. And then finally, there is a component of volume of basic repetitions. When I say basic repetitions, just think you're just doing those rhythm movements that most people do. I'm sure you guys have heard the stories, the myths and whatever it is of like Herschel Walker performing 1,000 push-ups, 1,500 squats, or whatever it is per day, and sit-ups. I do believe at a young age, and even for that matter, if your relative strength isn't good as an athlete, I do believe in having a high volume to build that foundation, that infrastructure as an athlete, with the right or particular movements that would support you in your sport. And with that, obviously a volume of movements, basic repetitions, just rhythm, will then increase hypertrophy, and when you're a young athlete, adding, your cross-sectional area is going to increasing the cross-sectional area of your muscle, how big it is going to directly positively correlate to you as a young athlete being able to get stronger. Not only that, you're not like this awkward gangly athlete anymore. You're kind of more of a, you're comfortable in your own skin. You have good relative body strength when you perform a high volume of body weight movements. And I've seen it time and time again. I'll tell you a story real quick. When I was playing Little League, there was this kid that played Pee-wees across town rivalry for Clearwater. His name was Julius. And this kid, your coaches we planned for him almost every single year growing up. And I remember one of my buddies played at Clearwater one year, and I was good friends with him. And everybody as a kid wanted to know, like, what the hell is this kid doing? What's he eating? You know what I mean? And I think back about it now, I'm like, wow, that was genetics. But one thing that always reminded me was he would tell me how he has a basic body weight routine every single day of 100 jumping jacks, 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 lunges, and 100 sit-ups. And they said basically he would do that every single day. And I remember mimicking that. And that volume of repetitions for you as a young athlete, especially this was like, I want to say this was elementary or even middle school for me. So anywhere between like 7th to like 4th grade, he was doing this, and he obviously built up to that amount of number. But that made him, he was a great athlete, and he was far above our age group when it came to athleticism and strength. So that's how I would design a program to be able to extract as much power and speed out of an athlete as possible, just utilizing your body weight. So I hope that helps. I'll catch you guys next time. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you're interested in more body weight training, especially for the power athletes, if you're interested in how to jump higher, run faster, things of that nature with no weights whatsoever, go ahead and check out these advanced lessons that I've made for you right here. And go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already done so for my videos right here. I'll catch you guys next time.